Battlefield 6 is finally out, and it's incredible. I could glaze this game for hours and hours, especially in terms of the multiplayer shooter experience. I mean, Fortnite and Apex were fun for a bit, the finals was really cool. Hell, even Overwatch has improved quite a bit since it was released in 2022. Actually, I used to get up super early in order to play Overwatch early in the mornings and get better, and it actually worked. But now that I go to work earlier, I don't really have the time for that anymore. So now when I get home, I'm more tired, I want to play a more relaxing game. I'll play Minecraft or play through Elden Ring for the 100th time. But that's the thing, Battlefield 6 is a game I can play casually and enjoy as a shooter experience. It's incredible. That's the thing, even though I've mostly played this game solo so far, I've been having an absolute blast. Even if I'm not getting a ton of kills, if I'm taking space on objectives as assault or controlling the dynamics of vehicles on the battlefield as an engineer, it's so much fun to just do your job, to be a team player. Unlike COD, with small tight matches where everyone is chasing the same thing. Camos, high KD, score streaks, oh, and can't forget, clips. Not to mention that Battlefield is just cinematic. Games flow in a way where clips, both funny and epic, just come naturally. When in a lot of other shooter titles, you have to go out and chase those clips, likely by running into low-skill players. Now, of course, this still happens in Battlefield. After all, the very first clip you saw in this video was me killing 4 people that were just completely unaware of their surroundings and didn't shoot back. But I feel like my point still stands. Because overall, I think the one thing Battlefield needed in order to get ahead of COD is the trust of the players. And when everyone's main complaint about your game is suboptimal UI and a desire for more weapon customization, then I think you've done something right. Which is a far cry from what we received in 2021 Battlefield 2042. And while I will say I somewhat enjoyed this game, that's only because it was the only Battlefield game I had ever played, and the Battlefield gameplay loop is fun. But looking back at this game with a full understanding of what Battlefield is supposed to look like, 2042 really was an absolute joke. Because of course 2042 released in a horrifically horrible state with all of these bug fixes and map reworks that needed to be done, but even after that, the maps were just too big, they were bland and uninteresting. The map design difference between these two games is night and day. Because the detail and layers of the Battlefield 6 maps are just so solid, especially the city maps. You have these little stores you can go into and hide in, and so many buildings with paths for you to navigate around the enemy, even on the outskirts. 2042 had so many empty plains with little to no cover. The points were built as if gameplay wasn't in mind at all, and it was all just about making the location feel realistic. So while there were cool elements here and there, with the exploding rocket and the concept of weather conditions affecting the fight, and the expansive maps that supported 168 players, that all sounded cool, but in practice, it was just a huge flop, and a sad imitation of what Battlefield is supposed to be. I mean, the gunplay, of course, feels great. Like, all the weapons I've used have all felt pretty decent for the most part. Obviously, there are changes I'd make here and there, and personally, I am upset that there is no burst assault rifle in this game, but hopefully that changes at some point. And of course, you have all the equipment. Again, they all just feel great. All the equipment being associated with the classes is so cool in my opinion. Again, it makes it feel like everyone's trying to do their own thing outside of just getting kills. I like that. As an engineer, I can carry the RPG that's better at controlling points, while the tank launcher is obviously going to be better at killing tanks. While as Assault, I can run around with the shotgun, and I can have all these unique types of explosives that control space in these tight maps. I mean, I could go on about the other classes too. It's really cool. And then vehicles themselves, they just add a very interesting dynamic into the game. Of course, they can be very frustrating if, maybe you're the only engineer on the team and you guys aren't really dealing with them properly, or you're just having frustrating interactions with them. The vehicles can definitely be frustrating. I'm not going to act like it feels good to get shot at by a tank from 150 meters away, all right? But overall, I do think they're a positive include in this type of game. And the maps themselves are gorgeous interactive. I know I talked a lot about the design before, but just the way they look and interact is great. You have buildings that are crumbling, you have a ton of debris reacting to every explosion. I can't stop glazing the maps in this game. Like, I feel like that's such a key part as to why I love it so much. And lastly, I feel like a huge thing for me is something I mentioned at the beginning, which is the more casual nature of this game. It makes it so much easier to re-queue and say GG go next if you get destroyed. Well, a lot of these other shooter games are trying to push to be more competitive and have all of these systems in place to try and be perfectly balanced. Battlefield just inherently feels more just for fun and casual, but you can still try and see results from it. Hopefully you can see why Battlefield 6 gives me hope for the future of AAA gaming, especially with the shooter genre. Because I remember when Black Ops 6 came out, and I had a decent time grinding for the cherry camo, but it just got stale so fast. Because on top of COD being the same exact game every year, I got tired of dying to tryhards, running around wearing celebrity skins, or people dressed up as a green dragon lady that makes my body explode into crazy particles when I die. I miss when COD was about the soldiers, and the Battlefield devs noticed that I and so many others had this sentiment. Not every game with a gun has to be as goofy as Fortnite. While Battlefield still doesn't take itself so seriously that you can't fly around in a jet with a tank on top shooting down helicopters, I feel like there's just a really good balance here, you know? So I hope I've been able to convince you why this game is so incredible. I mean, I know this is not a very long video. I haven't even gone into really any of the other game modes that aren't Conquest, the story mode, or the Battle Royale, but that's the thing. I feel like so far my $70 have been worth what Conquest has given me. And I love that if I ever get sick of Conquest but I still want to play the game, I have those other options available to me. But with that, I think that concludes our discussion on Battlefield 6. Again, if you enjoy the shooter genre and you're a little hesitant, I really do think this game can be worth it for you, especially if you have friends that are playing it. Other than that, if you're sticking around for the clips, hope you enjoy them. Otherwise, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time.